Assalamu alaikum, and it's me Maryam. As you can see by the title, today's video is going to be a We Hunt the Flame by Hafsah Faizal book talk review type video. I'm just going to talk about the book in general. The main reason why I have felt like I should make a video about this book since reading it is because it is, to my knowledge, the first mainstream own voices Arabian fantasy in the YA genre, and I just feel like it is my duty as one of the only Arab booktubers to kind of put this book on everyone's TBR if I can, or just with my small platform that I have, spread the beauty of Arab culture and everything like that to the best of my ability. So even though I don't really ever make standalone review types of videos, I'm going to make an exception for this book just because I feel like I should, and I really loved it, so I just want to share that with you all and hopefully encourage you to give the book a try if you feel like it might be something you like. I have made several notes in my journal of what to talk about in this video, so I'll just be sharing with you guys some pros about the book that I really loved, some cons about the book that I didn't love as much, and some of my favorite quotes to kind of maybe encourage you to read it if it seems like a style of writing that you would like. So right off the bat, if you are watching this video and you do not know what We Hunt the Flame is about, it is basically an own voices Arabian fantasy, as I previously mentioned, and it takes place in the fictional land modeled after the Middle East called Arawiya. And in this land we follow a cast of characters on their journey to find a magical artifact that will bring magic back to their land, which has been without magic for about 90 years now. This book is told in dual perspective, so it is the perspective of two of the members that are on this journey together. One of them is Zafira, and she is a huntress who disguises herself as a man to hunt in the dark forest that is plaguing the land because she is the only one that has the ability to do so without losing her mind. Disguises herself as a man because in the caliphate that she lives in, they are very sexist and they do not allow women to have jobs. So if anyone found out that the person that was getting all of the village's food supply was not a man and was a woman, there would be very bad consequences for Zafira. The special thing about Zafira is that she is the only person that can go into this forest, like I said previously. Because of this, the sultan of the land, who is actually crazed and plagued by dark magic himself, he orders Zafira to go to this island and retrieve the magical artifact that will bring magic back to the land because of her special abilities. And he also orders his son, Prince Nazir, to also go on this trip and follow Zafira, and once she actually retrieves the magical artifact, he orders him to assassinate her and bring the artifact back to him to use for his own advantage. So right off the bat, I would like to talk about the first pro of this book. It is without a doubt the writing style. Hafsah has a gift. This is her debut novel and it does not read like a debut novel. Writing style is extremely prosy, it is extremely flowery, there's lots of descriptions, and there's just the most quotable dialogue that I have read since a Leigh Bardugo book. The dialogue very much reminded me of Six of Crows. Second pro of this book is that there's great character development of the two main characters that we follow in this book. I definitely felt like there was a very clear arc that the characters went through, and I saw who they were at the beginning of the novel, and they were definitely someone completely different at the end. Mostly Nazir, but we will get to that in a minute. Another pro of this book is that it has a great cast of characters. It definitely has like a found family type of feeling to it, and y'all know that that is my favorite trope ever. But it's definitely a book where a lot of people are thrown together to go on this journey together and achieve a goal together, but they all have very different personalities. But somehow they make it work in the end, kind of. One of the biggest pros for me in this book was the hate to love romance. The biggest thing that I find in enemies to lovers or hate to love is sometimes the author goes a little bit too hard on making you dislike one of the characters, and it just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth for the impending relationship that they're about to be thrown into by the end of the book. And I can say that I definitely thought that that was going to happen in this book, because Nazir as a character is literally an assassin. His father has abused him growing up, and he has made him into this very hard, very cold assassin who literally kills people, innocent people, and he doesn't really think much about it. He knows very, very, very deep down that it's wrong, but he just feels like there's no helping his situation, and he doesn't even try to fight it most of the time. So I was very interested at the beginning of this book because I knew that it was going to be a romance between Nazir and Zafira, but I was like, how is Hafsah going to make me support a relationship with this assassin? Like, he's literally not a good person. How is she gonna do it? But she did it. I won't tell y'all how, but she did it. It was just mwah. Like, as a enemies to lovers stan, I just really, this has my stamp of approval. It is great. I loved it. Can't say much more than that, but their lines and their chemistry together and their tension was just amazing. So now moving on to the cons of this book. Unfortunately, it did have some cons. These are mainly all of the ones that I've seen are basically a general consensus for people who have read the book. Number one, top priority, is that the pace of this book is very, 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 very slow. It crawls for pretty much the first half of the book. I'm not gonna lie to you. It personally took me 9 days to read this, even though I was reading it consecutively every single day because of this, because of how slow it was. It is also a very character-driven, thought-driven book more than anything. There is a plot and there is a sequence of events. There is a greater goal in mind, but they just happen very slowly, and there's a lot of character thought, internal thought, and things just crawl by, honestly. They move at a snail's pace, but once you get used to it, you really, really start to enjoy it, or at least I did. My second personal con for this book was that there was no time skips. I don't know what other word there is to describe it. If anyone knows, let me know. What I mean by time skips is that every single second in this book is accounted for. When a chapter ends, it goes immediately into the next thing. There's no like fade outs into, you know, the next important sequence that's going to happen. No, they just go straight into the next minute of their lives. And I don't know if that's making sense. Let me know if that makes sense, but I prefer in books for them to skip to the important things. Even if it's not necessarily an action-packed scene, I needed to have some sort of significance. And some of the scenes in this book, unfortunately, did not feel like they had significance. Another con I had for this book was that because of the dual perspective, I feel like we did lack some of the character development in the other characters in the cast. There is a kind of found family type crew in this book consisting of 5 characters, including Zafira and Nazir, but for the other 3 characters, unfortunately, I don't feel like we got as much as we could have got. Not to say that they didn't have any development at all, because they definitely did, but I just felt like there definitely could have been a little bit less of Zafira and Nazir and more of them. But like I said, that is due to the dual perspective nature of the book. Another con was that even though the book is inherently slow paced, I did feel like there was some sequences that seemed underdeveloped, and because of that, they seemed to move extremely fast to the point where I could not really understand what just happened. And I will say that this is usually in the scenes where there is a character death. That is all I will say about that, because that's spoilery. And finally, my last con about this book was that I don't think that I fully understand the villain. I know that there is a second novel because it is a duology, but I feel like we got enough of the villain in this novel that I should have understood for the most part what they were after and like just them in general, and I don't really understand the villain. in this book, unfortunately. So on that note, I would just like to wrap this video up by leaving all of you with a couple of my favorite quotes in this book. There was honestly so many quotes that were just so beautiful that when I read it on my Kindle, I highlighted so much. Like, I have more than 100 highlights, which never happens, but I just couldn't help myself. Like, there was just so much beautiful prose in this book, and it was just really life-changing, to be honest. So I'm just going to leave y'all with a couple of my favorite quotes, and I hope these encourage you to pick up the book even if it wasn't on your radar previously. The first quote that I have here is a stroke of genius on Hafsah's part, because it is Zafira's mother talking to her, and she is telling her, "Be as victorious as the name I have given you, and bring the desert to its knees." Now, this line is so genius because both of the names Zafira and Nazir in Arabic translate to victory, and this is literally so genius, and Hafsah deserves an award for this, because how are you not gonna ship these two when they have two different names that mean the exact same thing? Another amazing quote is the one that obviously inspired the title of the story, and I love when I find the exact line in a book that inspired the title. I love that so much, and it gives me so much joy to find out what kind of meaning was behind the title. So the quote is, "But in this moment we are two souls, marooned beneath the moon, hungry and alone, adrift in the current of what we do not understand. We hunt the flame, the light and the darkness, the good this world deserves." The next quote I'd like to share is, "All right is when you're bleeding black, but it's not as bad as bleeding red. When the world crashes, but you're not alone when it does. When the darkness is absolute, but you hunt down the smallest flame and coax it brighter. When you carve the good out of every bad and claim it as a victory." And finally, the last very short quote that I would like to share with y'all is my absolute favorite in this book. I don't know why, it just has so much meaning behind it, and it was just so beautifully delivered. I low-key want to like get this tattooed on me. And the quote is, "1,000 leagues and 1,000 sands. For you, 1,000 times I would defy the sun." When I tell y'all I cried my eyes out, like, this was so beautiful to me, and it just will always stand out as one of the most beautiful quotes I've ever read. So those were my thoughts on We Hunt the Flame, compiled together in this mess of a video, but I hope that I maybe encouraged you to read this book. I definitely know that it's not for everyone, so if you don't love kind of slow, descriptive, thought-driven, character-driven books, then I definitely would not recommend this for you. But if you feel like you like the other elements of the book so much so that you would like to pick it up, I very much encourage you to do so. And I definitely think that this book deserves a bit more appreciation than it has gotten. So that is all. My channel has been growing a little bit faster lately, and it's really making me happy to see everyone commenting and liking and interacting with my videos. So yes, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Goodreads, keep up with me outside of YouTube, even though I'm a mess at all times. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.